Bookmaker Company.
Welcome back, KTN SCORELINE. It is football, National Super League, also on the cards, and that is where we are shifting gears to right now. I know you will forgive me because of the graphics. We are indicating that we have matches on Saturday and then Sunday, but in the National Super League this time out, the matches that we will have indicated as to be played on Saturday, they will be played on Sunday, and then the matches that we've indicated to be played. So these matches that you're seeing on your screen right now, written as a Saturday, those matches will be played on Sunday. Let me just clarify that. Those are matches that will be played on Sunday. Some slight mistake there from my team. So some little mistake there. Apologies for that. NSL fixtures, that is Saturday fixtures. We have Green Commandos will be in action against Kisumu All-Stars. Migori will be playing against Nairobi City, while Kibera Stars will be playing against St. Joseph's. Remember, again, I'll repeat, those ties will be played on Sunday. Those are some of the ties that will be played on Sunday. Other ties on Sunday, Fortune Sacco against Coastal Steamer. Now, these ones that you're seeing on your screens right now, these matches will be played on Monday. These will be the matches in the National Super League that will be played on Monday. Kangemi Stars against Ushuru FC. Ushuru having a good season, one will argue. Kenya Police against Modern Coast. Wazito FC having the money, having the finances this time. They want to go back to the Premier League come next season. They will be in action against FC Talanta, a side that has not been getting as much finances as they require from the ministry. Who's winning Ushuru against Kangemi All-Stars?
If you forgive me, Kangemi will have to forgive me. It's all about Ushuru FC.
Because they have the summit of the log?
They have demonstrated actually what winning means to them. It means that they are going back to the... This is not the second time, this is not the third time. A lot of times we should have tried. Actually, when they begin the season, they should try hard to get to the top so that they can qualify for the Premier League.
Automatic.
To get back. But they have not been able to do that. But this time around, 17 games, they have maintained that first position. It means Ken Kenyatta is actually eyeing the Premier League.
Remember, playoffs was not the best thing for them last time, because it is playoffs that made sure they remained in the National Super League. So they will try to see if they will get that automatic promotion this time out. Wazito against FC Talanta?
These are two teams which have money, if you look at them. So Wazito, they started well. FC Talanta also started well. But in between, some things have not been working for them. But obviously, I think Ushuru and Wazito will be making it back to the Premier League, as FC Talanta will be fighting for playoffs against any other team from the Premier League. Maybe FC Leopards or Vihiga, who will be just tailing. They are trying to fight their way to remain in the Premier League. But
the minister has not been churning money to this FC Talanta as they would have wished. And very quickly, we see where they are on the summit. And that is the standing of the National Super League. They're on the 5th position, that is FC Talanta. On the summit of the log, it is Ushuru who leads in the National Super League standings. And for them, they have 38 points at this particular time. So for Ushuru, they are leading out there. Wazito also on the 2nd position. For Wazito, 38 points for them, but a goal difference of 16. They have been able to score 11 goals going forward, and against actually 27. So for goal difference, 22-26 when you compare Ushuru, who have superior goal difference in comparison to this Wazito. Nairobi Steamer on the 3rd position.
That Nairobi Steamer,
also
Wazito and Ushuru should be careful, be very actually careful with it, because Nairobi Steamer, they nearly made the Premier League. Only they lost in the playoffs, and during the last games they fled somewhere, and something happened, and then they never qualified. But if Ushuru and Wazito are not careful, that Nairobi Steamer, you might find them in number 1, because it's just a difference of 1 point. Anything can happen in football.
And when you think about goals, actually for them, 15 goals, the goal difference of 15, one lower than this Wazito side on the 2nd position. Very quickly on the other side, FC Talanta on the 5th position. We know Bidco is on the 6th position. Shabana started the season quite well, but for now it's not the Shabana that people wanted it to be, because they're on the 7th position, only 26 points. Also not that far adrift.
The Rain started beating them when the hooliganism just got into their game. All of a sudden, the coach, I don't know, the celeb pinching somebody some days back. That's an allegation. He said he didn't do that. And again, their games have been mad with hooliganism, bringing their reputations into question and their return to the Premier League into question, leaving them at number 7, and still they're keeping sinking. Maybe tomorrow they'll sink deeper. Who knows? You
never know what exactly will happen. Administration Police and Kenya Police, they are on 8th and 9th respectively. Fortune Sacco 11th. But when you go down on the other side, Thika United, they're on the 14th position. For Thika United, not the best of seasons. St. Joseph's is on the 12th position, while Kibera Black Stars are on the 16th position. Nairobi City Stars, Green Commandos, also the struggle is real for them. But Kangemi All Stars, they know how sweet it is to lose ties, because they've been able to lose quite a number of matches that they've played, only winning 2. This time out, drawing 2 and lost 13 of the 17 games they've played this season.
Look at Kibera Black Stars and look at the Eldoret Youth. These are the teams which have been in question. Everybody has been saying Eldoret Youth is trying to be helped to get back in the Premier League. But they lie in 15th. Kibera Black Stars, they don't have a coach. Actually, they left. Godfrey Ouma just left, so they don't have a coach. But actually, at the moment, they're trying. They won their last game, and now this Sunday, what will they do? If they just win another game, they will be moving top actually to position, maybe they will win their position 16, maybe if they win their game.
Yeah, again. Because 14 points, 11 points from Nairobi City Stars. So even if Nairobi wins their tie, the goal difference that they have is a negative 13. So that tells you they will remain there. Kibera Black Stars at negative 6. But Kangemi All Stars, negative 20. Teams knows how to score against them. But the team that has been able to have the worst of goal difference is none other than Green Commandos, negative 22.
It's a team comprising of young youths who are, maybe some of them are in high school from all the way from Western. So you can't just blame them. Maybe they are trying to make it to the Premier League, but again, it's hard without finances. Most of the team actually in the National Super League are not financed. They don't have sponsors. Teams like Kibera Black Stars have no sponsors. Teams like the Green Commanders, they have no sponsors. They're doing this thing on their own. Just like in the Kenya Premier League women team, teams like Eldoret Falcons, they have no sponsors, but they are number 4. They're trying to do their best to make sure they get to the level best.
You're saying that money is an important factor, and yes, money is always an integral part in making sure that these teams try and get those positive results. Positive results, you will think, but sometimes we get some red cards while at it, while trying to have those positive results. Echesa knows what that literally means, because he is the last man to be fired by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Reshuffled it was, but it is Echesa out, Amina Mohammed in. What should we expect from Amina Mohammed? But at the same time, what did Echesa bring on the table while at the ministry for the 1 year, 2 months, and 2 days that he was the boss?
Kama Raila sasa amekuwa ndio appointing authority in this country, I want to dare you, Tinga, wherever you are, come and sack me. Kuja unifute. Kama wewe ndio appointing authority leo Kenya hii, come and sack me, please.
He might have seen it coming. After serving as cabinet secretary for 1 year, a month and 2 days, having been appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta on January 26, 2018, the axe has finally fallen on Rashid Echesa. In his first day in office after replacing Hassan Wario, who left after 5 years in charge of the sports portfolio, it was all promise coming from Echesa.
That is the main disease that ails this ministry. And I want to put on notice the cartels, and more so the public officers who work under my ministry.
During his time, Kenya lost the hosting right for the 2018 African Nations Championships due to lack of facilities under Wario's watch, but his successor has done a little to improve the country's sporting infrastructure. None of the 5 stadiums promised by the government has been constructed.
The refurbishment of Kamarin Regional Stadium is at 45% completion. The refurbishment of Chuka Regional Stadium is at 75% completion. Refurbishment of Karatu Ndarugu Regional Stadium is at 30% completion. The refurbishment of Wote Regional Stadium is at 25% completion. The refurbishment of Marsabit Regional Stadium is at 48% completion. The refurbishment of Ruringu Regional Stadium is at 30% completion. The refurbishment of Kipchoge Keino Phase 2 Regional Stadium is at 60% completion.
For those intrigued by belly dancing, then some will remember the fiasco about the 8 Pakistani women who were flown in the country through allegedly by the aid of Sports Cabinet Secretary then, Rashid Echesa, and finally they were deported for violating terms of their temporary passes that allowed them into the country.
Mimi yangu ni kuandika barua kwa Immigration Department. Immigration Department iko under Interior. I'm not the minister in charge of Interior. So, mimi nashangaa. Wakora wanatembea hapa ndani, wamejaza maneno kwa magazeti. Oh, waziri aliingiza watu hapa. Sijui waziri anafanya human trafficking. Please, I'm not the man in charge of immigration.
Others will argue that it is no secret that former Sports Cabinet Secretary Rashid Echesa was an epitome of inept and ignorance at his underperforming ministry. A section of sports lovers had had enough of him, but it took the president some time to sack him. But why now? Echesa seemed a man under siege after the handshake.
Somebody somewhere wants now to take advantage of us impressing the handshake to come and intimidate some of us in the government. I want to be very clear with the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Mimi, ile chumvi mzee Raila amekula dunia hii, mimi hata kwota ya hiyo chumvi mimi sijakula. Ninaomba kwa heshima kubwa, mzee Raila, toa jina yangu kwa mdomo yako. I'm not your equal. Mimi, Mheshimiwa Rais, His Excellency the President was not stupid to appoint me in the cabinet. Alijua tuna maprofesa, lakini akasema hapana.
Sideshows aside, sports lovers felt they were let down by the youthful former boxer. Out goes Echesa, in comes Amina Mohammed with a full in-tray. Moses Wahisi, KTN News.
A story that I was able to prepare yesterday, but for Echesa, what exactly will you remember as one of the best things maybe, or worst, that Echesa did while at the reign of this ministry?
Let me start with the good, because I remember one thing about Echesa. Under his watch, Harambee Stars made it to AFCON.
Did he play an important role?
As a minister, it happened under his watch, so we can't dispute that. Again, Echesa has been bedeviled by many things. One, Echesa was the minister when Chan was not played, which was supposed to be played in Kenya. Echesa has been on watch when we don't have stadiums. Matches like Gor Mahia and Tusker shifted from Kasarani to Machakos. Matano loses and they complain. He doesn't complain about the time and the shifting. He complains about the penalty. He doesn't tell you exactly what he's seeing. Under Echesa, many things never happened. Football, volleyball, and every federation stalled. There's wrangles in the federation which are never solved. Election wrangles which are on and off every time. Kenya Professional Boxing Corporation, we don't have. Still, we are waiting for the elections almost a year later. What would you have to show as if you were Echesa?
Remember, at the same time, he had a lot of sideshows, and people asked why he was politicking, but that's a discussion for some other time. Right now, it is Amina Mohammed who is taking the responsibility, and she is the new boss in this ministry. People are saying that there is a lot of fixing that needs to be done. And where will she start? Will it be the facilities? Will it be the issues of corruption? Will it be the sitting document that was prepared after that 2016 famous Rio fiasco? Or will she be going to watch matches and enjoy herself, saying that she is the boss of sports here in the country? A lot will be there for her, and she will have a lot of reasons to say she needs to do some fixing, and that fixings need to be done in some quick succession.
There is a new sheriff at the sports ministry.
career diplomat Amina Mohammed was used to navigate through the murky waters of diplomacy. However, in President Uhuru Kenyatta's second term, she was moved to education docket. About a year later, she has been handed the sports docket following the sacking of Rashid Echesa.
The country belongs to all of us, and we must be ready to serve in any corner of this country. Yeah? So that practice is not going to stop. It's not even going to stall. We are not going to slow it down.
Over the years, the sports docket has been dogged by corruption allegations and lack of goodwill from the government of the day, with stakeholders feeling the ministers given the mandate to manage the affairs of the Kencom House lack the know-how and alienate federations. The new CS at the sports docket has already a full-in tray even before she is unveiled officially. Stakeholders in the athletic fraternity are eagerly keeping an eye on her to look into the Rio Olympic 2016 audit report, which remains in the shelves. Kenya was unable to host the CHAN Championships due to lack of stadia, and this remains one of the talking points as the University of Oxford diplomat takes the reins. And just like the cartels in the education docket, the sports docket needs a pair of safe hands as cartels and corruption menace continues to kill the youth's dreams. Just like her predecessor, Amina should expect nothing but a shocker if she fails to slay cartels who have crippled the ministry. Jeff Mogire, KT News.
Remember, courtesy of 1xBet, I will be giving some 3 balls. Last weekend I gave 2. I will be giving some 3 balls. I've seen a very simple question. I've been asked who will win the Manchester United tie against Southampton and by what score. So send your prediction. Remember, the hashtag is KTN SCORELINE. My handle is at Moses Wahisi and also at KTN Kenya. Who will win that tie, by what margin of score? Manchester United against Southampton. And remember, that is a tie that, again, we will be broadcasting much at around 6 o'clock, but the build-up will start around 5:30 on KTN Home. This story about Amina, a lot of people have different sentiments. So what's your general take? I know we've seen different managers in the Kenyan Premier League, in the English Premier League or Bundesliga, and all across the world. They shift clubs, They are the Johnny Walkers in the movements that they do in the different clubs. Now Amina has been moving ministries. Not her fault. The president decides who he expects to be the person most fit to lead those ministries, and it is Amina for the sports guy. She has a lot that she needs to do at this new docket of ours.
I watched some things on social media yesterday. People are talking about Amina. They're criticizing her, they're judging her, and telling her she doesn't even know the coach for Harambee Stars. She doesn't even know the president of the Kenya Volleyball Federation. She doesn't even know the players, captain of the national team. Those are critics from the social media. Back to Amina, her experience. Let's see where she started. She started from the United Nations as she was working there. Then she came to aid President Kenyatta and William Ruto in the ICC cases, and now she was through the international affairs, foreign affairs, where she was working, and she did really very well. But when she was moved to the education sector, which Matiang'i left, Matiang'i should have told her the devils in that, the cartels in that ministry, what they could do to her, but he didn't warn her. Then she met the cartels, who always made sure that they will bring her down. But now Uhuru Kenyatta has seen it well for her to be moved from the education docket to the Ministry of Sports. But here, she will meet more cartels than in the education sector.
On a later note, I've seen a tweet where a person said that Amina left the Ministry of Education before actually taking to jail any person who's not paid help. But there is a lot of sentiments that's coming out. Let's see what some people have been saying about Amina and that new responsibility that she has been given. So one here seems to be a question. Chemshabongos, yes, sports Amina, who is the FC Leopards head tactician? Just that fun, just taking that on a lighter note, you might presume. Let's see another one, because we have quite a number of sentiments and people actually just taking on CS Amina. This one says, CS Amina needs to double her efforts to leave a legacy in sports docket. Let us be innovative, find out what made sports lose its lost glory, address corruption in sports, edge cheating in secondary school games. Also an important pointer there coming from Gibson Amenya. Another one here, this one is coming from Kata, is saying she's facing what other CSs never face. Matiang'i has never been a security officer, but he performed in the ministry that he's leading right now, and also saying that it's like he's giving a benefit of a doubt.
Actually, we can't judge her at the moment. She managed to help Kenya escape the Wada punishment over the in 2016. What if she makes it? Because look at her. She's coming in as a new blood. For the cartels, they don't know her. What if she decides to make a reshuffle in the Ministry of Sports? That's the first thing she should do, to make sure that she's working with the right people. Second thing that she should do, she should make sure that every sport, every federation is looked into. The wrangle should end, the election should be held free and fair, there should be enough money. But for now, the first thing she should make sure the Harambee Stars has enough money or enough funds to support the AFCON journey. She should also make sure that the team going for the Olympic to Japan, Tokyo 2020 next year, they have enough money. She should also be keen on the preparations for the IAAF under-18 games, which will be held in Kenya in a few months to come.
I know there is a lot, but one thing that Amina should also not do is just make empty promises, because we've had quite a number of empty promises in the sports fraternity, and I expect her to keep off from those promises and only let those actions that she will be having take the center stage.
She should also remember that there were predecessors, like Paul Otuoma was in this ministry and he failed. There was Babu Namwamba who failed. Then came...
and I know that's a different talk altogether, because I know there are some people who say that Babu did some good work. There are some people who said Otuoma actually would have done some things in a different way, but I think that's a thin line. Let's leave that, because yes, I know that when we talk about which minister was able to do what, the likes of Sambili also a lot of talks about what they were able to do. I know my favorite all time, by there I'll say it's Ababu, because I even expected maybe him to be given a nod this time out. But we have Amina, and we will believe and we will expect that she will be able to deliver this time out. We move and listen in what Judy Waguthi has to say. We know for Judy Waguthi, she has to defend her title not later than this month, but she has a trouble. Finance is a big issue. Sponsors also need to come out and aid her out, because she is a world champion that lacks sponsorship and money to be able to set her title defense bout. But she's saying she expects maybe some well-wishers to come out there, aid her out, and also for her she promises that she will be able to do good, not only for herself but also for the country.
In May 2018, Judy Waguthi joined the list of female Kenyan boxers who have managed to edge their names into different titles in the square circle after defeating Briska Vicot from France to win the WBC Silver Female Super Lightweight title. 1 year down the line, Waguthi is faced with a situation where she might end up losing her title.
I'm in that situation, in that situation that I'm supposed to defend it by May. If it doesn't happen, and the belt will be vacant.
The 34-year-old mother of one says Kenyan promoters are yet to put up a bout that will see her stage her title defense.
And WBC, I think it's a bit expensive kusimamia. Juu lazima ulipie belt, lazima utafute kulipia opponent na team yake na pia mimi. So I think promoters wameshindwa kuweka hilo pambano juu lack of sponsorship.
Waguthi is appealing to sponsors to come out to her aid as she seeks to take her next challenger.
The sad part, sijapata sponsorship. Nilikuwa nadhani tutapata, but imekuwa ngumu kupata. Na mtu wa kuweka hilo pambano imekuwa ngumu.
Her coach Ambrose Muga says the WBC Silver Lightweight champion is ready for any opponent that will be thrown away.
So ndo tumeanza mwezi moja so far inaelekea. Na hopefully na need another month ndaweze kuwa ready.
Her next fight should be staged before the end of May this year.
The clock is ticking, and Judy Waguthi's title defense time is fading out, but she still hopes that tomorrow they give her another chance to defend a World Boxing Council Silver Champion title.